Hello everyone, my name is Tony and today we're gonna make this beautiful focaccia bread. It's really easy and it only needs 5 ingredients. So here we go, let's list them. You're gonna need flour, water, salt, yeast and olive oil. Now let's go and make the dough. First we grab a bowl and we add the water, the yeast and salt, and we mix them very well until they are dissolved. We do this because we want to avoid clumps at the final dough. After mixing well, we add the flour. And we mix the flour with the wet ingredients until the flour is completely hydrated. Now this is a very high hydration dough, so we're not going to knead it. We're just going to mix it and we're going to use time to build structure and the gluten. After mixing it well, we grab it out of the bowl and we put it in the counter. Make sure to grab most of the dough from the bowl. Now we loosely shape it with a spatula. Again, the spatula, like I said in the previous video. This is an essential tool for handling doughs with high hydration. Now we give it a couple of slap and folds, about 1 minute, just to roughly shape it into a ball. Then we put it aside and we grab the bowl and we put all the olive oil in the bowl, 15 grams like I said in the recipe. Then we grab the dough and we put it right on top of the olive oil. Now, as I said, we're going to use time to build this dough. We're going to use a technique called coil folding, and we're going to do this until all the olive oil down there is absorbed completely by the dough. But first, we rest it in the fridge for 30 minutes. Now we grab it from the fridge and we start doing the coil folds. Always when you're handling wet doughs, particularly this one, you're gonna have to have your hands with a bit of oil or water. I'm choosing oil because focaccia has a lot of olive oil and it gives it a lot of taste. So here we go. Now we are doing the coil fold. We grab it from the side and we pull it up a little bit. Not too much as not to tear the dough, because if you tear it, you're gonna have a really hard time getting it back together. We do this for about 4 or 5 times. We cover it up and we rest it again for 30 minutes into the fridge. Now we get it out of the fridge again and we uncover it, and as you can see, the fermentation has already started and the olive oil has almost completely been absorbed by the dough. Now we grease our hands a little bit again with olive oil and we do the coil folds until we see a smooth surface on the dough. This is going to be the last coil fold before we put it in the long fermentation in the fridge until the next day. Cover it up and get it in the fridge until the next day. Next day, before you get the dough out of the fridge, you grab your cooking utensil. You can use whatever cooking utensil you want. I'm using a cast iron pan because it retains heat very well and it gives it a nice crust at the bottom. But you can use another type of pan or an even bigger tray, you can double the recipe and you can make a bigger focaccia. It would be twice the goodness. We grease the bottom of the pan with olive oil so the dough doesn't stick, and it fries the dough underneath, and we get a nice crust all around. Now we grab the dough out of the fridge and we uncover it, and you see it's fully fermented, it's all bubbly, and it smells nice and yeasty. We cover our hands with a bit of olive oil again, and we start gathering the dough, and we perform a couple of coil folds until we shape it into a ball, and then we grab it out of the bowl and we put it in the pan. Now the dough is tense because it just came out of the fridge, so I'm gonna let it rest at room temperature for about 30 minutes until it has relaxed. So loosely cover it in the cooking tray of your choosing and let it rest for about 30 minutes at room temperature. After it has rested for 30 minutes, we uncover it and we start to add the final touches. We add olive oil again, so this is not a bread you want to do when you're on a diet, unless it's your cheat day. And then after we add the olive oil, we start pushing the dough to the sides with our fingers. In the meantime, you want to preheat your oven to 200 degrees Celsius or 392 Fahrenheit. And then we final proof it for 1 hour at room temperature. So loosely cover it and let it proof. Now after it has been proofed for 1 hour, we uncover it and you see it's all bubbly and nice. Now we start adding the final touches. I add a sprinkle of dried oregano and a little bit of salt. I keep it simple, but you can do this focaccia bread with anything you want. You can flavor it with sun-dried tomatoes, you can flavor it with peppers, you can flavor it with dried basil, with anything you want. So, after you flavor the focaccia, now we start pushing our fingers in to give that authentic focaccia look. After you do this, off to the oven to bake at 200 degrees Celsius for about 20 to 22 minutes. And here we go. The focaccia looks amazing. It's all golden brown and nice. It smells amazing. You want to get it out of the cooking utensil and get it on the wire rack, a place where air can circulate, because if you leave it in a place where air can circulate, the bottom will get saggy and you're gonna have a saggy bottom focaccia. So this one is nice and crispy. I'm gonna leave it to rest for about 10 minutes. And now here we go. We cut it to see that crumb. That is a nice and airy focaccia. Now guys, I'm gonna leave you with the sandwich I made. I'm gonna leave the recipe at the description. So thanks for watching, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!